Molly, I want you to come by and clean up for me again. There's a lot that needs to be done, so the earlier the better. My husband's got a meeting with the neighborhood association, and I'm going out to have lunch with some friends. I'll be back by the evening, so I want everything finished by the time I'm back, okay?
You want me to go to yours right now?
Yes, of course. I bet you're not even doing anything worthwhile. You're probably at home lying around on the sofa, aren't you? You might as well use your time to do something useful. You can come, can't you? Or are you going to make excuses?
I'm at home right now, but I don't think I can go over to clean today. Got a few personal errands I've got to get done. I'll be out of the house for most of the day.
What personal errands? Tell me, and I'll decide if they're important or not.
I've got to renew my driver's license, and I've made an appointment at my hair salon because I'm due for a cut. I've also got to go out and buy a present for a friend to congratulate her on giving birth. It's her first baby, so I want to give her something special.
But you don't have to do any of that today. You can reschedule all of that for another day and come by to clean instead. You're a housewife, so you have plenty of time on your hands, don't you? I'm your mother-in-law. I'm asking you for a favor. Then you should prioritize my request over a silly haircut.
Okay, then I'll cancel my appointment. I'll try and be there before lunchtime.
That's what I wanted to hear. Oh, and by the way, I noticed that you cut a lot of corners when you came over to clean last week. I thought I told you to get rid of all the weeds in the lawn, and there were still a lot left when I took a look. I want you to do it again, and make sure that you check every single corner. You can't leave a single weed unpicked, do you hear me?
But it's raining all day today. Can't I do that another day?
So what if it's raining? If it's raining, then it'll be much easier to pull the weeds since the ground will be much softer. If anything, you're lucky that it's raining today. It's been very warm lately despite it being December, so the weeds have been growing much faster than they usually do this time of year. I want you to get it done quickly before they start growing out of control. I won't take no for an answer, and I want it done by the end of the day.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Oh, and I want you to prepare something light for dinner. I was thinking that you could marinate some salmon for me. My husband doesn't like oily food, so make sure you don't overdo it. The food you make is always so oily, so we have a hard time finishing it off. Make something light and refreshing, understand? My son may prefer heavy meals with a lot of meat and strong flavoring, but you've got to remember that we're already in our 60s. We can't eat that much.
I understand. I'll make sure to prepare something easier on the stomach.
Good. And before you leave, I want you to wax the floor. In every room, mind you. Don't dare leave any room unfinished. And would you be a dear and turn the dehumidifier on in the bedroom? It's going to rain all day, so I don't want mushrooms growing out of the mattress.
I'm sorry, Deborah. I don't think that I can finish all of that by this evening. There's a lot you want me to do, and not a lot of time to do it in.
Why not? Of course you can finish it all.
But you want me to wax the floors in every room, right? First of all, I'd have to move the furniture out of the way so that it wouldn't be uneven. And then I'd have to wait for the first layer to dry before adding another layer of wax. I really don't think that I can finish all of that by this evening.
Molly, you really are hopeless, aren't you?
Excuse me?
If you don't think that you can get it done by this evening, then that's a matter of your enthusiasm, not the amount of work that has to be done. I'm sure that you can get it done if you actually put some effort into it. It's that simple. If you motivate yourself, I'm sure that you'll get it done.
I don't think that it's a matter of motivation. I really just don't think that I have enough time to finish everything you want me to do. The weather isn't that great today, so I'll probably have a hard time finishing up on the lawn, too. I can't do it.
Honestly, you always say I can't do it before you've even tried. I'm sick of it. I don't know why you always have to begin with such a negative outlook. It's really quite depressing. You know, I can't believe that you actually have the nerve to refuse a request from your husband's mother like this. It's unforgivable for a wife like you to say no to me like this. If you really have any respect for me as your mother-in-law, you should be saying yes to every task I give you and get it done without a complaint.
I didn't mean to refuse you. I just meant that I don't think that I can get it all done today.
But you thought that I would decrease the workload if you moaned about it being too much, didn't you? I can see right through you and your motives. Molly, it's useless. I'm shocked that you could actually be so lazy.
I'm really sorry. I don't mean to complain.
All right, well, I'm counting on you to get it done. Make sure it's all done perfectly. If you're not finished by the time I get home, then I'll have no choice but to determine that you were slacking off. Molly, I want you and my son to come over this Sunday. Everyone's decided to have a family gathering at our house this weekend, and I want you to help. One of my nieces has finally had a baby, so they're going to introduce them to everyone this week.
Well, that sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'll talk to Devin and let you know what time we'll be there by.
Hang on a moment. Everyone's going together at our house at lunchtime, but I want you to come and start preparing for lunch in the morning. Devin can come on his own at lunchtime. I want you to clean the entire house first thing in the morning, and then I think I'll get you to start making lunch and snacks from around 11.
You want me there in the morning?
Yes, of course. It's important that you get the house ready, and I want you to clean out the shed, too. Some relatives are bringing their children, so you've got to make everything childproof. It'll be dangerous if they manage to get inside and get their hands on the tools inside. We should do everything possible to prevent them from getting hurt, so you've got to clean out the shed.
You said you wanted to make the house childproof, so I thought it would be enough if we just put a lock on the door.
What are you talking about? Of course it's not enough. What are you going to do if they end up getting inside? You've never had children before, so this might be hard for you to understand, but children are the most unpredictable things on the planet. They'll manage things you thought were impossible. And besides, it'll be embarrassing if my husband's relatives see how broken down the shed is. I want it tidied up before anyone sees it.
Can I ask what you've got stored in the shed?
It's filled with old tools, things that my husband used to use when he was still working on the farm. They're all useless now and nobody uses them, so I want to get rid of everything.
Are all of those tools light enough for me to carry around and throw out? I have a feeling that I might need Devin's help with cutting it up if there's a lot of heavy lifting involved. Can't Devin come with me to help clean up in the morning? I'm sure he'd be happy to help.
Don't be ridiculous. My son is always that hard at work on the weekdays. You should at least let him take a break on the weekends so that he'll be refreshed by Monday. But you're not doing anything for work right now. You're not busy. You're just rolling around, whiling away the hours. This is the least you can do to pay me back for my son for being so lazy.
I'm not whiling away the hours when I'm at home. I'm pretty busy with the housework at home, and I'm doing whatever I can to support Devin.
Oh, sure. You really think that I would believe you? As if. You resigned from your job with the excuse that you were trying to have a baby. But you haven't gotten pregnant in all the time that you've been out of work. It's obvious that you only stopped working because you were just too lazy to work.
I'm trying my best to get pregnant. Devin and I have been doing all the research we can on the best methods to conceive. But it's just taking a little time. We want to have children, so I'm afraid you'll have to be patient.
And how long are you planning on making me wait? I've already been waiting for ages. At this rate, my husband and I will be dead before we can see our grandchildren. If you're not taking care of children, and you're not even going to work, then you've got to work harder at home to make up for it.
Yes, I understand. I'm sorry.
Do you understand how serious it could get if you don't clean out the shed before the children arrive? If you don't do as I say, I'll have no choice but to complain about you to all my relatives. I'll have to tell them how lazy you are, and what a useless wife you are, and that you're just using my son for his money.
Please stop it. Devin has nothing to do with this. If you start spreading rumors about me amongst his relatives, then he'll end up being embarrassed too. I don't want that.
Then you'll just have to do what I say, won't you? Is that understood? I want you to do everything I said without any more complaints. Will you hurry up? I thought you told you to go buy more beer over half an hour ago. You're making everyone wait.
Deborah, you went too far this time. I can't believe you actually did that.
What are you talking about?
You insulted me right in front of everyone gathered in the living room. You went on a rant about how terrible a wife I am. You told everyone that I was being a parasite and that I was using Devin so that I didn't have to work. You even went as far as to insult my entire family, saying that I was lazy because my parents were lazy. You don't even know my parents. How dare you talk about them like that?
I was just speaking the truth, that's all, because you really are lazy. All I said was I wonder if that lazy personality of yours was genetic. That if you're this lazy, it must be because your parents are too.
But you didn't have to bring my parents into this. I wouldn't have cared if you were just going to talk about me like that. But I'm not going to forgive anyone for insulting my parents the way you did. My parents are far from lazy. I only got the chance to go to university because they worked so hard to pay for my tuition. They have spent decades running their ramen restaurant, and they have supported each other ever since they started it together. They work all year round to keep the restaurant alive and to please their customers with new menus. I won't let you insult them like that.
Oh, yes. I think I remember you mentioning something like that. I think you showed me some pictures of it too, but it wasn't very impressive. It was a broken down, dirty little place. I can't imagine who would want to eat in a place like that. You said that they're a very popular ramen restaurant in the local area, but I highly doubt it. It's probably popular with poor, suspicious characters because it's so cheap. I can't imagine it actually being successful among a more decent clientele.
I thought I asked you to stop being so insulting. You're looking down on it without even knowing what my parents are like or even going there to see it for yourself. You're always talking to me like that as well. I don't see how you can still call me lazy after everything I've done to help you over this past year. I have been working tirelessly to keep your house clean for you and cook for you, and yet I'm still lazy?
But it's the truth. In the end, you didn't even finish off cleaning up the shed like I told you to. I told you to get it done before everyone starts arriving, didn't I? And yet you hardly dusted anything down before leaving it as it was.
The shed was filled with tools that I couldn't lift up on my own. I did my best to move the smaller items to the higher shelves, out of the children's reach. But you can't have seriously expected me to throw out all of the bigger metal tools. There's no way I could have finished all of that on my own in a couple of hours. Especially when you told me that I had to prepare lunch, too. Of course I prioritized making the food. Otherwise, there would have been 20 hungry people waiting in the dining room for something to eat.
I've had enough of your excuses. I bet you weren't even planning on finishing off cleaning the shed. You took your time on purpose so you wouldn't have to lift a finger, and then came back into the house to make everyone's food because you weren't bothered to even get the job done. It's fine. I don't expect anything from you anymore.
That's my line. You gave me this list of jobs knowing that it would be impossible for me to finish on my own. You would have to be Superman to be able to finish off all those chores in a couple of hours. I thought that I would be able to finish cleaning up the shed by the time I had to start making lunch because you downplayed how much work actually had to be done. But when I arrived, I saw that it was filled with tools too big for me to even put my arms around. How did you even expect me to do any of that without Devon's help?
Just keep on making excuses, all you like. I'm not listening. We're all waiting on you to bring some beer, so will you hurry up and get 4 packs from the store? There isn't enough beer or wine to go around. We're all thirsty, and it's your fault. I'll have you finish off tidying up the shed after everyone's gone home, so just hurry up with the drinks.
What is wrong with you? Why do you have to boss me around like this all the time? I've had enough. I can't take your bullying anymore.
Molly, where are you? Hurry up and answer me. It's already been over an hour since you left the house. We're all waiting on you.
I thought I told you that I've had enough. I'm not coming back. I'm going back home. You can tell Devon that I've left and that I'll be waiting for him back at home.
What are you talking about? Don't be silly. You're just my son's wife. You don't have any right to talk to me like that. You should be right here doing as I say and helping host our guest. Come back right this minute. I'm warning you, Molly. Come back.
No way, you old bitch. There's no way I'm coming back. You can go buy the drinks and host your relatives on your own. I'm not doing anything for you anymore.
What did you just say to me? Did you just dare call me an old bitch? Who do you think you're talking to? I'm your mother-in-law. You should treat me with respect. I can't believe you have the nerve to say something like that. I'll be telling Devon that you said that. My goodness, what a horrible thing to say. I'm so hurt.
Well, I feel a lot better now that I've finally gotten the chance to say it. I've been holding it in ever since you first started being so unreasonably bossy towards me. And I finally got the chance to say it out loud, not just in my head. Up until now, I've been screaming it at you in my head, but I could never say it straight to your face because I knew that you'd act like the victim.
What a cruel woman. I never thought that you were so malicious. I knew it. I knew that your parents were good-for-nothings, and you've just proved it. They're the reason why you're so hostile. They raised you to be like this.
That's my line. You're quite the cruel woman yourself. You must have been having a lot of fun bullying me and making me run errands and do all the cleaning for you. You forced me to do chores with ridiculous time limits, knowing full well that I wouldn't be able to finish them by the deadline you gave me. And then, when I couldn't finish the chores off, you would scream and shout abuse at me. You really are a horrible woman.
Don't you dare talk about me like I'm the bad guy in this situation. You're the one that couldn't finish off the work that I told you to do.
Yeah, because it was impossible for me to do on my own. How could anyone manage that in a couple of hours? How about you try and get that amount of work done, and then we'll see who's really useless. I bet that you wouldn't even be able to finish it, even if you had a whole day to do it all in. In the first place, you're the one that's lying around doing nothing while you delegate all the housework to me. You get to go out with your friends and spend your time however you like because I'm the one that's cooking and cleaning in your place.
Unlike you, I'm not young anymore. I can't move around the way I used to, and I get tired very easily. That's why I'm asking you for your help. and yet you're talking about me like I'm some evil woman.
Asked me for help? You've never given me an option. You've always ordered me around and guilt-tripped me into doing things. You forced me to do all your housework knowing that I couldn't argue back and say no to you. Why should I have to help you clean up your house when we're not even living together? Just calling me to be your housemaid because you can't be bothered to do it yourself. I have my own life, too.
I've had enough of you talking to me like that. I haven't been forcing you to do anything, and I certainly haven't been asking you to do the chores because I want to slack off. I've been asking you to help me because I'm in a lot of pain. I have terrible back pains and I need to lie in bed until it dies down.
What? What back pain? You never told me that you had back pain before.
I may not have said anything, but I really do suffer from chronic back pain.
But you never look like you're in pain when you go out to have lunch with your friends. And while you're out, I'm left alone at your house cleaning up after you. I would believe your back pain excuse if you were actually lying in bed every time I came over to clean, but you're not. Did you forget that you're paying for those lunches with your friends with the money Devin and I send you every month? Can't believe you could actually accept money from us and use me like a maid. You've got a lot of nerve.
That money comes from my son, not from you. And so what if I use a little money to have fun? Most of it goes toward the rent and the groceries. What if I use my money son on has nothing to do with you?
Do you really think that it's all from Devin? I'm speechless.
Of course, it's all from my son. You're unemployed. How could a useless woman like you provide us with any money? You left your job because you were too lazy to continue working after you married my son. I'm thankful for my son's money, but there's no reason for me to be thankful for you.
All right, then you go to your precious son and beg him for help. I'm not going to do anything for you anymore. I'm not going to let you walk all over me if you're going to be so ungrateful. If you want more alcohol, I suggest you get in your car and go and buy it yourself, because I'm not buying one drop.
Are you seriously going to go home? How irresponsible are you? If you're going to be so difficult, then fine. We don't need a woman like you in our family. You're just in the way. You can divorce my son and get out. I'm sure Devin would be happy to be rid of such a selfish wife.
Sure, if that's what you want. I love Devin, but I can't endure your abuse anymore. I'll divorce him and move out. That way I can go back to focusing on my career and have children with someone whose family will actually welcome me. But don't you dare forget this. You're the one that told me to leave first. I told Devin that I want a divorce. Are you happy now?
Wait, please don't divorce my son. You've got to take it back.
Why should I do that? You told me that you wanted me to divorce your son. You told me that I was in the way and that Devin would be happy to be rid of me too.
Well, I did say that, but Devin's so upset with me. He was livid when he heard about what I said to you.
Oh, really? What happened?
My husband was furious too, and they both told me that I had to apologize to you. I didn't understand why they were so aggravated, but they both said to me that if I couldn't apologize and get you to come back, that they would kick me out of the house instead. That's why.
The reason why they're both so furious is probably because they know what will happen if I leave. Devin's dad won't be able to afford anything, the bills, the groceries, the rent, if I leave.
What? What does that mean? Why is it so bad if you end up leaving? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
All the money we've been sending you every month for you to pay the bills with wasn't your son's money. You don't know this, but it was my money.
What? Why on earth should I believe that it was your money? You're unemployed. Where could you have gotten all that money from? You're lying.
I may not be working right now, but I was earning a higher than average salary before I married Devin. So I have a lot of money saved. I have more than enough in my savings account to afford sending you around $1,000 every month. Do you remember what you did 2 years ago when you ended up getting into financial trouble? You borrowed a ridiculous amount of money from the bank without talking to Devin or his dad, and you're still paying all of that money back bit by bit. Devin spoke to me after that incident and asked me if it was possible to help you guys out and put some money into paying the bills. That was so that you could use your pension to pay off your debt because you and his dad were having a hard time keeping up with the monthly payments. Do you remember that? To be honest, I don't want to help you if you brought it upon yourself, but I decided to help because I felt sorry for Devin's dad having to suffer with you.
What? But I've never heard anything like that from Devin.
Yeah, Devin's dad didn't know either. Even if it was my personal money that was being sent to your account, I believe that my money is Devin's money and vice versa. I didn't think it was necessary for me to brag that I was the one sending you that money out of my personal savings. It's not like I wanted to make you both feel like you owed me either. I did it because I wanted to help.
Really? You're not lying? You really were sending us money from your savings?
Sounds like Devin has already told his dad, if your husband's that upset. I can imagine that he must have been pretty panicked when he found out that you had been treating me like this after everything I've done for you both. Judging by how panicked they are, it seems that both Devin and his dad didn't realize how horrible you've been to me up until now. They must have been twice as shocked when they found out that you had even told me to divorce Devin and leave.
Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell me that it was your money? If I knew that much, then I would have been a lot more careful with the way I treated you. I wouldn't have forced you to do all the chores I told you to.
Have you noticed? You haven't said one word of apology to me yet. I thought you said that Devin and his dad told you to apologize to me and get me to come back. If you don't apologize to me properly, then I'm not going to forgive you, and you and your husband aren't going to be able to pay the bills from next month.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me? I don't know what you're apologizing to me for. You'll have to make it a little clearer.
I'm sorry that I forced you to do all the housework. And I'm sorry for insulting you and calling you lazy. I also feel very bad for disrespecting your parents and poking fun at their ramen restaurant.
You forced all of your chores onto me because you wanted to slack off and go out and have fun with your friends, didn't you? I want you to admit that you took advantage of me because you were being lazy.
Yes, okay, I admit it. I did all of that because I wanted to annoy you. I wanted to force you to do things you didn't want to do.
Why would you do something like that? Did you do that because you didn't like me?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
I don't know. I just didn't like you. You were annoying, so I wanted to get back at you. I might have felt jealous because you had all my son's attention and because I felt lonely. I don't know. I don't understand why I felt so frustrated, but I just did.
Well, I guess that's how a mother-in-law's thought process works. If they're childish enough to bully their daughter-in-law, then there's most likely a very childish reason for it. You just didn't like me and felt jealous and couldn't be adult enough to accept your son's decision. That's all. Unfortunately for you, I'm willing to continue sending Devin's dad the money he needs from now on. But I don't want to give you a single penny. I don't want to waste my precious savings on someone like you.
No, I'm really sorry, please. Forgive me, I shouldn't have been so horrible to you. I won't ever treat you like that ever again. I won't ever say anything rude to you ever again, I promise you.
I have a great idea. I don't want to divorce Devin after all, so it would be perfect if you would divorce your husband and get out. If you leave, then I don't mind sending money every month like I've been doing up until now.
But if I leave, where am I supposed to go? I won't be able to survive on my own.
Oh, but you'll be fine. You said that you don't need a useless woman like me as your daughter-in-law. You were the one that told me to get out, remember? Now that's decided. Goodbye, Deborah. And I hope I never see you ever again. In the end, my mother-in-law was the one that got kicked out of the house. My father-in-law found out what my mother-in-law had been doing, and he demanded a divorce. The entire family was shocked to hear that she had been taking advantage of me to do all the cooking and cleaning in her place and cut ties with her. It seems that my father-in-law has been disappointed with my mother-in-law ever since she had caused all of that money trouble 2 years ago. So this issue ended up being the last straw for him. My mother-in-law was chased out of the house and had to find a small apartment that she could afford on her own. It seems that she's having a hard time paying for the bills and paying off her debt with just her pension, so she's been visiting friends and family to ask them to lend her money. I doubt she'll ever be able to find financial stability, but it's a fitting end. I accepted my father-in-law's apologies and took back my announcement to file for a divorce. I've restarted sending him the money he needs, but thanks to Deborah leaving, I've been able to get by with sending him a few $100s less. It looks like she really was spending a lot of the money on lunch with her friends and other luxuries, so I'm glad that I don't have to waste as much money. And not long after Deborah left, I finally got pregnant. I obviously had a hard time conceiving because I was so stressed out by Deborah's constant nagging, bullying, and from simply being so exhausted. After giving birth, I've been leaving our baby to Devin's dad, who's been delighted to spend time with his new grandchild, and I've returned to work. My father-in-law and I get along very well, so I'm happy to continue sending him money to support paying for his bills.